There are so many reasons that you feel exhausted, you feel stuck. We've talked about many of them. But at the end of the day, you're living a life that you don't even want. That's right. You're living a life you don't even want. So let's talk about that right now. Check it out. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Positivity Experience. It's your girl, Lori, and I'm so excited that you are here today. We are in spring. We are spring. We are happy Mother's Day. That's coming upon us. Everything is already here, and I am excited to spend it with you. And I'm really excited about this topic, which I realize I say every single week because I am excited about every topic. Now, over on Patreon, there is going to be a really good worksheet that is based on this episode. It's going to be a great worksheet that's really going to help you dig deep into understanding what kind of life do you really want and what are the hidden factors as to why you're not following through with it. If that is your jam, I highly recommend it. Patreon.com/the positivity experience. And you will find all of the Patreon information there. And I am going to start doing more stuff on my YouTube. This podcast is put on my YouTube. However, I am going to start doing a little bit of a in between short and long form content for you. So if that's your jam, same exactly, the Positivity Experience, you can find me over there on YouTube. Jump on there and subscribe. All right. I really want to talk to you about this because, my God, I would dare to say there are many of us that are existing, not living. I have been there. I have been there many, many, many times. And I have chased looking to live, chased it, followed it across the country, lived in different places, did crazy things, tried to do fast fixes. I was chasing life. I knew a life I wanted, but then did I really want it? And this is where things get so confusing. And that's one big thing I can't wait to talk to you about today. And I really wanted to do this. Again, we're in spring, we're in summer almost. And again, just yesterday I was telling you about Christmas. Like, this time goes by fast. And the older you get, I don't know if you've realized this, is the older that you've gotten, the faster time seems to go. And it's not even, like, I'm not even over exaggerating that. It has literally felt like I just recently put away Christmas. And now I'm like a month and a half out from vacation. It's just so crazy. And it's important to realize that you want to maximize the time on this planet in which you have. I know it sounds fun. It sounds great. It also sounds hard and it sounds alluring. And when you are chasing it as a person who has done that, let me tell you, that is not the move. That is not the move. You cannot chase life. You cannot chase it. It will be something you chase after for the rest of your life. You will get into bad relationships. You will miss opportunities. The list is endless. There's nothing positive with chasing it. There is everything positive with creating it. But how the hell do you do that? Especially if you're dealing with anxiety and, the overthinking and the obsessive compulsive that comes with the overthinking. I promise you it's doable, but you have to absolutely right now commit to saying, I'm going to do the shit, because it's not supposed to be easy. Stop telling yourself it's hard. And is it harder to go into the unknown where there's opportunity and where things are? Or is it harder to stay in the stuck zone where you're getting up, you're doing the same rat race over and over again? Now, let's not pretend that money isn't a thing. Money is needed. We are in a world now that unless you are in the 1% independent, wealthy people, you do have to work. You do have to make money. You have to find a way to do so. And like I said, do not chase fast fixes. Your girl did that for many, many years. It is detrimental and it is horrible. You do not want to chase fast fixes, not only with money, with mental health, with everything. Stop. That is going to keep you in the place of living a life that you never wanted while you're chasing the life you think you did. And you're not lazy. See, that's the thing. You're not lazy. You're overwhelmed for one, but you're also misaligned. That's right. You're misaligned. There's a specific kind of burnout that does not come from doing too much. That's right. You can actually get burned out because you're doing the things you never wanted to do in the first place. And again, let's not get silly. We know we don't feel like paying taxes. We know we don't always feel like getting up and going to work. Not exactly on that level, while the type of work that you do can be something that you're looking at as safe or something that you feel like you can't do more. Okay, that kind of goes into this. But if we're talking about the things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis that most of us don't feel like doing, that doesn't apply here. That's just part of life. But it's the life that you're living for other people. It's this idea that if you see your peers and the people who are your age and everything, and in your mind, they're excelling and they've got families and they've got money and they got houses. And listen, you got to stop doing that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to tell you for a fact, this is not an opinion. This is a fact. You guys know I've been doing this for a couple decades. Those same people, not everybody, I'm not classifying everybody, but a lot of those people that you see that you're like, oh my God, I want to emulate them. I want what they have. I can tell you right now, they're on the other end of my computer. Remember, I have clients all over this world, and I've told you this before. It doesn't matter the country. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the religion. It doesn't matter the gender. Everybody has the same problems. Now, some are geared a little differently, but those same people that you're comparing yourself to, A, they've done a lot of freaking work, a lot of work. And B, you're only seeing the glory. You're not seeing the story behind the glory. And you're also not seeing the struggles that they have that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So you have got to stop comparing yourself. You got to stop that. Because again, now you're chasing stuff and now you're sabotaging yourself because you're going, oh my God, I should know this by now. Why haven't I gotten there yet? Stop doing that. Because again, you're chasing this idea of what you think is going to make you happy. I mean, listen, millions of dollars would solve a lot of my, it would allow me to pay off my daughter's college loans. It would allow me to pay off my house, of course. But at the end of the day, then what? Okay, just because the financial piece, which is a huge part, is removed, what is the fulfillment? Like, what is the fulfillment? You need to ask yourself this question right now. Let's do this together. If money were no object in your life, everything was taken care of, everybody's health was happy, everybody's great, money is good, bills are paid, what would you do with your life? What would you do? And I know the initial thing might be like, well, I'd go traveling, I'd shop a lot. Listen, your girl's already had that fantasy in my head a lot. But then what are you going to do? There's going to come a point in time where other people don't have those millions of dollars. I mean, you might be hanging with millionaires, but guess what? People are still having to make money. They're still doing things. So what would you do with your life? It's a really important question because for a lot of people, you'll know. Well, hell, if you don't know, then what kind of life are you living? Of course, you're going to live for other people. Always. Always. Your jobs, your relationships, your friendships, the routine looks all good on paper. You're playing it safe. You're doing what society, whatever the hell that means, you're doing what society thinks you should do. You're doing what your family thinks that you should do. And guess what's happening? You're slowly suffocating. You're slowly suffocating. And you're doing it to yourself. Let's not make it seem like anybody else is doing it. This is on you. And I've told you a million times, you want it to be on you. Because if it's on you, that means that you can change it. If it's on everybody else, that means you got to wait for them to change it. You don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. So why are you always tired? Because of that. Oh my God. How could you not be tired? It's not burnout. It's betrayal fatigue. Let's talk about betrayal fatigue because that's a big one. And I don't think a lot of people even understand what that is, but it's when you constantly betray yourself over and over and over again. Of course, it's going to be tiring. It's not just that you're overbooked. You're tired of always absorbing, ignoring yourself and abandoning yourself every single day. And I'm going to tell you some signs that you're living out of alignment. And a lot of you are going to be like, holy shit, that's me. And Lord knows it's been me. And it's been me more than one time. Because the beautiful thing about life is you get to reinvent yourself over and over again as often as you need. That's the joy. You get to reinvent yourself. Every single day you can start that brand new. Do you wake up dreading your day? Do you wake up and you're like, oh God, oh, damn. All right. Okay. First of all, before I even go down that road, it's your mindset. You guys know I do mindset mentoring, and I'm going to tell you right now, your mindset, if you get up dreading the day, your day is going to be shitty. I'm not asking you to get up and tap your toes and be like, oh, today's going to be blissful. But we don't need to do that. But how you see it, your day is how you will live your day. And that's just factual. But if you wake up every single day dreading your day, then you know you're living a life that you didn't really want. And again, a lot of things are out of our control. So what you can do is you can say, what can I do to change my life? What does this look like? But again, the question that I asked you at the top, if money were no object, if you did not have to work for money, what would you be doing with your life? Maybe you said volunteering. Well, guess what? You can do that shit now. You don't have to wait to be financially independent to do that. And I mean, after you did the things, after you did the traveling, after you bought the things, after you splurged a bit, you will get tired of that after a while. You just will. It'll be a lonely trip too, because not many people have the means to do that. So at first it's great and you're dragging people along, and now you don't know who's your friends, because now people are just dragging along with you because you're paying for everything. If you say yes to everything that you want to say no to, this is how you know you're living a life you didn't ask for. This is how you know you're doing it. Are you saying yes to everything you want to say no to? Now we know that's trauma. We understand that. That's what we talk about. I'm over 225 episodes into this. You don't think that we know that it's trauma by now? Of course, but you're here today. What are you going to do today to start changing this? We understand where it comes from. But if you're saying yes to everything that you want to say no to, you're constantly in people pleasing. You're constantly in that loop. You're constantly in that cycle. And I'm pretty sure for most people, you don't want to live that life. But guess what? You're too worried about what somebody else feels. Why are we doing that? Where does that come from? We know it comes from childhood. We understand the why. So before you go down that rabbit hole of, but I can't, don't do that. Do not do that, because that's going to go and drift you into victim mentality. You don't want to do that. And if you have to hype yourself up, right? You have to hype yourself up for a life that drains you. You're like, yes, whoa, I'm going to pretend to be happy in this marriage. Oh man, I got to go deal with my mom. She's a pain in the ass and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You don't have to. You're an adult, right? Do you live there? Okay, well, that's a little different, but we can work on getting out. Are you under the age of 18 or living with them? Like I said, a little different. Are you are you an adult now? Do you live on your own? Why do you still have relationships with these people? If something drains you, listen, everybody isn't going to be perfect, because perfection's not real. Everybody's going to have off days. You have them. I have them. Everybody has them. But are you drained more than you are fulfilled? That's how you gauge everything. All your relationships, all your jobs, all of your interactions, are you drained from whatever it is more than you are fulfilled? Now, I understand work can be a little different, but this is where you have to be careful of just getting a job for money. Yes, of course. Again, none of us are independent. Well, some of us might be. I'm not. Some of you aren't. So you often have to do the things temporarily until you can find other things. But you have to say, is this draining me more than it is fulfilling me? Because again, nothing's always going to be like, boom, right there. Do you feel like a performer more than you do a person? Do you get up in the morning and you put on that mask of like, hi, oh my God, it's great. And yes, of course I could do that for you. Yes, I will stay after work. What? No problem. I'll come over for that barbecue. Yay. You're performing. You're trying to save everybody. You're doing that. You're living a life you didn't ask for. You might get used to it. That doesn't mean that it's in alignment with you. Do you ever constantly, I did. This is why I snicker. Fantasize a lot about quitting, running away, and just going to an island and never returning. I sure have been there. Where I'm like, oh my God. Luckily, not lately, because I've learned a lot of these tools. Most of these episodes I've done that I'm doing with you, I've already experienced. I've already lived most of them. Not all of them, but a good portion of them, and especially this one. The amount of times I thought, oh my God, you know what? I just want to go to an island somewhere. But mine has to have mountains. So mine it's not even real. I'm like, I need the beach here and the island and the mountains. It's like hard to find. And I want to go away and I just want to have everything given to me and blah, blah, blah. And that's because you're running from a life, right? You're running from the life in which you have. So here's a reflection. want you to ask yourself this question. How much of my life is mine and how much of it was inherited or expected in performance? Right? How much are you performing? So I want to go through that again. How much of my life is mine and how much of it was inherited and expected? Let's just stop right there. How much of your life right now did you inherit you're the fixer of the family. Oh, you're this and you're the one that always has to host the holidays and this is what we do. And we all went to Harvard. You must go to Harvard. We all went to LSU. You have to go to LSU. And this is what you have to study and all of these things. How much of that did you inherit? Well, it's just, aren't you going to get married and have kids? We all have kids. You don't have to have kids. You don't even have to get married. But do you feel like you're inheriting this obligation? And do you feel as though it's expected of you? Really expected of you where they don't even feel like they need to say it. Like, oh, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's not what we do. Well, you need to reflect on that and say, what am I willing to do? I spoke about this I do a TikTok live every Sunday. That's really the only thing I do. I don't scroll socials, but I do that TikTok live. And I was talking to people, all of them, on there. And I said, are you ready to heal? Right? And before you go, yes, I'm ready to live my best life. But be very careful before you just jump out saying yes. Because that means you're going to have to accept that, number one, nobody needs to support that. Nobody needs to cheerlead that on. And you are going to have to probably 99.9% guarantee you that you're going to have to distance from things, people, friendships, relationships, possible marriages, possible adult children, possible everything. I'm not saying it has to happen, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're on a healing journey, a lot of those people and a lot of those situations that start there will not end up on that journey. And I don't care if you like it or not. If you're not ready for it, then you're not ready to heal. If you're ready to stop neglecting yourself like everybody else neglected you, and you're ready to let that inner child come forward and let that inner child live their best life, well, then this is for you. Then now you're ready. But you say, I'm going to go break that cycle and I'm going to piss people off and people are going to disown me, and that's okay because I'm not losing people. They're not keys. They're not items. You don't lose people. You're disconnecting from a relationship. And some people have such conditions upon relationships that you're like, oh my God, if I'm living my best life and that's problematic for you, well, then we were never meant to be together in the first place. Or unfortunately, I was born into a family that, maybe just wasn't for me. And you're allowed to grieve it, but you have to move on from that. Now, how did you end up here? Well, again, we know a lot of that, but you've ended up here without noticing a lot. You just kind of wake up one day and you're like, the hell did I get here in my life? I mean, you can see it coming sometimes you can't. Most people don't consciously chase the life they're living. Very rarely do people chase that life. But they fall into it through a mix of conditioning, survival, and an emotional default. So if you look at your life right now and how it is, and in this section that you're like, man, I'm living a life that isn't mine or that I didn't ask for, how much of that is conditioning? How much were you conditioned to have fear? How much were you conditioned not to be different? How much were you conditioned to have to stick in the same religion or political affiliation or gender, or whatever the case may be? Conditioning. Survival. This was mine. Mine wasn't the conditioning or emotional default. Mine was always survival. How much are you doing what you have to do to survive? Well, that makes sense. But what can you do to pivot from the survival? And I'm going to tell you right now, never did I think I was going to live outside of survival mode. And I have to remind myself every single day, every day to today that, okay, you know what? You can lower that mood here. You don't have to be in survival mode every day. I can respond in it. And that's what's familiar. So every day I have to do my journaling. I have to do my gratituding. I have to make a conscious effort to this day, every single day, to not live in survival. Until then, you are going to keep chasing a life that, you'll chase friends or numbers or social numbers or finances. You're going to do it. Or is it an emotional default? Because you have anxiety about it, so you're just not going to do it. But yet you're miserable. And if you're miserable, you have anxiety about it. But then you have anxiety, you want to change it, but you don't want to change it. So there's a lot that comes into play. And it could be all three of those. So How about people pleasing and approval addiction? Yes, there is such thing called approval addiction. You are addicted to this approval. You strive for it. You crave it. You're choosing a path and choosing a path for others' happiness. For others' happiness. If you are setting a boundary and you're doing so because you're like, oh, I really don't want to hurt that person, then you're not setting a boundary, because people are going to tell you that they are hurt, and maybe they do feel hurt, but they're going to feel some kind of way when you're no longer readily available. They're going to feel some kind of way if you're going against the grain for something that they wanted you to do or something that they believe that you're not doing. This is important. So if you're worried about everyone being happy and you're worried about nobody getting upset, nobody getting their, you're not ready to go on this boundary mission. That's okay, by the way. That's nothing to shame yourself or guilt yourself into. You're just not there yet. But until you're there, and there's no aha moment, right? There's aha moments, but there's no like, well, you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you're ready. No, because until you're ready to face discomfort, that first of all, that's the only way you're going to heal. If you're ready to walk into the unfamiliar, now you're ready. But if you're not, then it's going to be very difficult for you, because you're going to constantly live for other people's approval and happiness. And then you've totally built your whole identity around being reliable. I'm so reliable. Well, that's great. But at what cost? I'm selfless. Okay, that's cool and that's great. But being a martyr can now turn into manipulation too. It's amazing to have these qualities of like, man, I can really depend on this person. They have empathy. That's totally different than what I'm talking about. If your whole identity is based in selflessness, I'm strong, I'm successful. Great. Well, we all have to strive for some kind of goal. I love that. I love that for me. I love that for you. Is it your identity? See, we got to have those things. We got to strive for those things. That's how we grow as a person. It's how we grow as a community. Not at the risk of it being your identity. The amount of people who I've talked to that once they've retired, and yes, even actors and stuff like that, it's almost like, oh, wow, what do I do with myself? I think I told you a story of a guy who was a client of mine, and he's retired, and he retired somewhat early because, you start early, sometimes you can end early, and was big in like an elevator company. And once, he was like sought after. He was on news and all these things, and then retired. And he's like, I have no idea. He goes, you need to tell people. You need to let people know. Every client, every podcast, let them know that they cannot do this as their identity, right? Because he said, this is hard for me. He has the money. Oh, he has plenty of money. He has enough money for all of us. Well, not all of us, but it's exaggerative. He has the money. He seems to be okay, but I'm telling you right now, he's lost his identity. And that was him that said, you need to tell people to stop attaching worth to what they do. And it's so important because you're not being authentic, and you're mistaking being needed for being fulfilled. Oh, I'm so needed. I'm so fulfilled. No, that's not what that is. Stop doing that to yourself. So if you keep telling yourself you're needed, that somehow or another that fulfills you, no, it's not where we are. You stayed because changing your life felt too hard, too late, and too risky. That's right. If you're like, man, it's too late for me. It's too risky. If you're not willing to take a risk, you're not going to grow. You mistake being needed for being fulfilled, like I said to you before, and you're avoiding the discomfort. You're avoiding discomfort. There is no scenario. I've told you this. I don't care who you listen to, what you read, what you say, how many doctors you go to, how much medication that you take. If you are not ready to be uncomfortable, you will not grow. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. It's enhanced, doesn't grow there. It will never grow there. You stayed because changing your life felt too hard. Remember that, too hard. Think about that. It's too hard. You can't keep doing that. You also convinced yourself that comfort equals happiness. No, comfort does not equal happiness, even though you're emotionally checked out. So it's comfortable. You're emotionally checked out. You're like, oh my God, what is my life? But yet it's comfortable. It's comfortable chaos. It's comfortable misery. We all have that because our brain goes, oh God, we don't like it, but we know how to function in it. So if you're emotionally checked out, comfort does not equal happiness ever, but especially then. That fear of uncertainty is going to screw you left and right. The exhaustion of certainty is what's holding you back. Oh, but aren't you exhausted as hell? I certainly was. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Wait. That's familiar. That's familiar. And you know what's going to happen. That's certain. So you got to be careful of that. But you were never, ever taught to choose yourself. You just weren't. I mean, many of us, most of us on here, you're not listening to this podcast because you got life figured out, right? No, you're like, because I don't know what the hell to do. It's the whole reason you're here. You were never taught to choose yourself. Somehow or another, it was bad. You were never taught that. You were taught to survive, not thrive. That's right. You got to survive. This is what you do. We work 80 hours. We have great work ethic. This is what you do. I mean, that's great to have good work ethic, but calm down. You can't thrive while you're surviving. They don't go together. You don't survive and thrive at the same time. Will never happen. But you're taught to survive versus thrive. You were also molded to sacrifice, not go into alignment, because you were told, don't be selfish. It's not about you. It's about you. Let me tell you, it is about you. You don't have to hurt anybody on purpose. You're going to hurt people and they're going to hurt you, but you don't have to do it on purpose. But you were taught that's selfish. You can't do that. Don't put yourself as a priority. This is what we do. Oh my God, that's horrible. So of course, what else are you supposed to do? You don't know what to do with that. Because the moment you start feeling a little froggy and you're like, yeah, that's right, I'm going to gain my life back. That voice, that internal voice that somebody else put on you, or they might even physically say to you, is like, oh my God, you're being selfish. Let me tell you, you're going to hear that a lot. Two things you're going to hear, selfish and rude. That's going to become part of the regular script that you hear on your journey. Oh my God, you're being so rude. Because basically you set boundaries. They didn't like it. You're being selfish, of course, because now you're not readily on the ready for them. Those are just two standards. I mean, that's so old, but people are going to fall right back into it. Anything that feels selfish to you is something that somebody else put in your head. Okay. Anything that feels selfish, different, or disruptive inside of you, that triggers guilt. Even if it's what you want. Somehow or another, you're dealing with this guilt and you're like, oh my God, that's what I want. And I mean, sure, we probably can't just go around like robbing banks and doing things that maybe we would be like, oh my God, this would help. Of course not. Let's not be ridiculous about it. However, if anything inside of you is triggering any kind of guilt, that you have to remember that's not from you. That's not from you. And there's things that you deeply want. If you are checked out of your marriage relationship, you're checked out. You are checked out. But you know what? Everybody else loves your partner. Everybody else. And maybe you were in a certain religion when you got married. You can't get divorced. And well, you can. Let's get clear. Yes, you can. But all of those things that come into play for you, now you're staying because you're like, oh, well, I'm going to feel guilty if I don't. I'm going to hurt them. Stop saying that to yourself. You let them hurt. Let them hurt because they deserve to be freed up to go find somebody who does want to be with them. So it's not selfish. That's you being solid and actually caring to let somebody go. Don't convince yourself you're protecting somebody because you're not going. No, that's the opposite. You're kind of being a little bit of a jerk there. No, that's not what we do. The cost of staying in that life that is not yours. This is so important. You know, so many things cost us money, but so many things cost us our energy, and that's 100 times worse than the money in which it costs us. Every time that you say yes to something that shrinks you, that really shrinks you, there is a part of you that goes numb. You ever have those relationships or situations you're like, I don't fucking know how I feel. I don't really feel anything. I'm numb. Yeah. Because your that misaligned living will take a massive toll on your mental health and even your physical health. You got that low grade constant resentment. You're just annoyed. And every time somebody calls you, whoever it is, you're like, oh, damn it. It's low grade. Like it's not full blown, but you just have a little resentment all the time. Well, like here you are. Here's the cost. The physical exhaustion. And you're like, there's no medical cause. I mean, I'm retired. What the hell am I exhausted from? Why do I'm so physically exhausted? And again, no medical thing. This is how you know. That's how you know. And then there's emotional flatlining. My God, people go through this so much. You're alive, but you're not living. You're just going through it. You're smiling. How you doing? Good. How's Bob? Great. You're just flatlining. There's no emotional stimulation from you. Listen, every relationship isn't going to be over the top and it's going to be great. And you're going to be so giddy. It's not about relationships. It is about yourself, though. How do you feel when you look in the mirror? And now, if we go to body dysmorphia and how we see ourselves, that's a whole different topic coming up in a later episode. However, when you see your life and you look in the mirror, is it what you wanted? And again, sometimes we got to do shit that we don't want to do. If you are jealous of people who are free, which is like longing for a way out, by the way, you ever look at somebody and go, oh my God, they don't have to deal with all this nonsense. And you're longing for that. You're ready for that. This is the cost. If you're questioning, is this all that my life is? Oh my God, this was so standard for me. I must have said this once, 15 times in a day. This is it? This is life. Okay, this is life. And I don't mean to the point where like now I gratitude, right? Because your nervous system, when it gets rested, you don't want a lot of hoopla and all that stuff. You just want basicness. This isn't for that. This is when you are just going, this can't be all of it. But yet you're like, oh my God, I'm just exhausted. So here's a reflection. What would I walk away from if I knew no one would judge me, hate me, or be disappointed? I really want you to dig way deep. What would I walk away from if I knew no one would judge me, hate me, or be disappointed? And right there, if you said 50 things, you need to get on my calendar today. You need to get off here. You need to schedule appointments with me ASAP, because you cannot not walk away because of somebody who's going to judge you. Everybody's going to judge you who is not good with, who is not, who are not good with, is not good with themselves. See, English, don't follow me. That is not good with themselves. Period. You're going to be judged by people who aren't good with looking in the mirror to who they are. They're going to hate you, of course, because, quote unquote, hate you, because you're not doing what they want you to do. And of course, disappointment, oh man, don't let that be a guilt trip gaslight to you. But if you are staying because you're worried about that, then we need to work through that, like today. But you need to say, what would I walk away from if I knew that none of that would happen? You'd be surprised. You might say that all of it. Well, then maybe we have to formulate a plan. So how do you begin to reinvent that life? Well, you don't need to burn it all down. You don't need to just say like, F it, set the match, and just walk away. I mean, sometimes, but usually not all the time. But you do need to stop gaslighting yourself into believing that this is the best that you can get. Stop gaslighting yourself into believing, well, this is the best relationship I'm going to get because some narcissist has now told you that because you have anxiety and you're crazy and all of these things, you'll never find somebody like me. So now you've gaslit yourself into saying, well, I mean, I guess I'll stay. Plus, you want to be alone. If you're with somebody right now, or you're in a situation where you're just like, I don't want to be alone. So you're settling for less. You're doing all of these things. No. If you are not good with being alone and being by yourself, then you're always going to be chasing because you're in anxious attachment. Now we're in attachment. We're not looking for love. We're not looking for all of the subtleties of things like that. You're just looking to not be alone. This is why you distract yourself with scrolling. This is why you distract yourself with cleaning. So, and I don't mean like cleaning because you got to clean. I'm talking about when you sit down, you're like, oh, watch TV. And you're like, oh, I feel like I should be doing something. Oh, I better get up and do something, which we know is conditioning. In growing up, you were told that if you sit around too much, you're lazy or what. It's still conditioning at the end of the day. So what would you walk away from? You don't have to burn it all down, but let's talk about it. Well, you're going to name your truth. First of all, you got to know what the hell your truth is. What do you want that you're afraid to say out loud? Think about this. Think about this real hard. What do you want that you are afraid to say out loud? Now I want you to say that shit out loud. Say it out loud. Why are you afraid to say it out loud? Because it makes it real? It's the same reason people won't put things down in a journal, because I got to see it. Same reason you don't block your ex, because for some reason you feel like if I don't block them, I still have some kind of a weird connection to them. No, you don't. What do you want that you're afraid to say out loud? It's okay if you're like, I want to get away from my marriage. Okay. Why are you afraid to say it? Why are you afraid to do it? I know there's financial implications. I get that. I understand, but there are ways out. I do promise you that. What would you change if you were radically honest with yourself? In your mind right now, what would you change if you were radically honest with yourself? Don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about what they could do, what they're not doing, why. No. I'm talking about you. Get radically honest with yourself. So here's a prompt for you. I keep pretending I want blank. You need to get a little paper. Again, we're going to go way deeper on this on the worksheet on Patreon. If that's your jam, I told you go over there. It'll be deeper. But I keep pretending I want blank. Get very honest here. But what I really want is blank. I keep pretending I want blank, but what I really want is blank. And I'm going to take it even a step more. Why are you pretending that that's what you want? So once you get that done, I keep pretending I want blank, but what I really want is blank. Why do I keep pretending I want blank? It's going to be really important to see that. Now, you need to stop trying to earn rest. What the hell is that? Joy or change? Are you kidding me right now? All of a sudden you need to earn rest? No, you don't. You don't need to earn joy. You don't need to earn change. You get to make those. That's the beautiful power that you have that everybody tried to lie to you about and tell you that, nope, you weren't allowed to have it. You do not, this is so important, you do not have to justify wanting something different. Who needs to know that? No one but you. You don't need to deserve a new life. What do you mean? You deserve the best thing that you could possibly have, that you can give yourself. That's easy breezy. You don't need to prove what you deserve. You deserve it for existing. You're not selfish for wanting. You're really not selfish for wanting anything. And you're allowed to have this ease of peace. You're allowed to want peace. I just don't want you to get peace confused with not dealing with stuff, right? Because I think sometimes we're like, I just don't want to be bothered. And I just want to have a peaceful. Yeah, but if I hit you with the peaceful stick right now, but I never gave you the tools or you never worked through trying to figure out how you could maintain that, it's going to be very short-lived. It's only going to be a quick second. So you need to audit what your energy looks like. I want you to make a list of everything that you do in a week. Every single thing that you do in a week. So don't do this on a Sunday and go, I do this, that. No. Do whatever you did on that Sunday, put it on this list. Whatever you do on Monday, put it on this list. Let's not prepare it ahead of time. I want you to do it. Now I want you to write these 3 things down: life-giving, life-neutral, and life-draining. Just write those down. Life-giving, life-neutral, life-draining. Now, then I want you to say, if I could remove 2 life-draining things this month, what would they be? 2 life-draining things this month. Now, obviously, be within reason. You can't just destroy everything in a month. What are 2 life-draining things that you could get rid of this month? Now, if I could add 1 life-giving thing, what would I try? What would you add into your life? See, when you look at that, and life neutral is fine. Life neutral is like, you get up, you do the things, that's okay. We're always going to have some things in our life that are going to drain us. That's kind of ridiculous to think like paying taxes is draining, but I mean, I guess you don't have to, but there's consequences to that. But there's usually life neutral. But when you have life giving stuff, for me, it's being outside in the mountains. It's sitting in October is my favorite month. It's sitting in October with a sweater and sweater weather and having my pumpkin spice and sitting by the fire pit. That is life giving to me. It doesn't always have to include money. Matter of fact, rarely does it include money. Now, you're going to have to allow some grief for yourself, because there is grief in letting go of a life that you worked hard to build, but realize it isn't for you. You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to be like, oh my God, my whole life has been a lie. No, it's okay. You worked hard to build it, but you worked hard to build it for who? For what? That's going to be the deeper thing. Even if, by the way, that life was never really yours. So you could have built this life because it's what you're supposed to do. It's what Instagram says you're supposed to do. It's what your high school reunion says you're supposed to do. Your parents, everybody who you see who's like walking that same path. Cool. But I'm telling you right now, you're going to have a little grief of that because you're going to be like, damn it, I wasted years. You didn't waste years. You did not waste years. You got some lessons. Let yourself go ahead and feel that loss of who you thought you had to be, because that person's been with you a long time, right? Because essentially you got to say thank you for your service for yourself, for your service for yourself. Thank you for your service of keeping me safe and above ground and in survival. Thank you. But we no longer need that part of you. Stay with me, but go rest now. You done did your job. Go sit back there in the hammock. I'll carry you along with me. Start where you are right now, not where you should be. Oh my God, this is big. Start where you are right now, not where you tell yourself that you should be. That's fake. Start right now. Small aligned actions. And those small aligned actions, they compound up. Let's start with easy ones. It's easy if you allow them to be easy. Saying no with no apology. For some reason, people have the hardest time with this. Saying no. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't. Why are we I'm sorrying? Why are you saying I'm sorry? That for what? You said no, thank you. You can say no, thank you. Sure. No, thank you. Appreciate it, but no, something like that. You don't have to go through this apology nor a thesis. This is how you're going to start to have alignment with who you want to be at the core. Resting before you burn out. There's no joy and no special award of burnout. And then you're like, oh man, I did it. I burned myself out. For what? Because you got to prove that your mom, who never could sit down, you have to prove that you're not lazy. Let her think you're lazy. Be as lazy as you can be in her mind. You can also change your mind without explaining. You damn straight you can. You can change your mind without explaining. And doing what feels right, even if nobody claps. This is a massive one. Doing what's right for you, even if no one claps. And like I said to you before, stop waiting for that celebration. Stop doing that. This is your journey. And no one is the professional on you more than you. No one knows you and no one will discover you nearly as much as you will because they're not you. People aren't going to cheerlead something that they're not benefiting from if they're not in a healed state. Me, I want everybody win. Win and win big. I will celebrate you. I will cheer you on, and I will do so wholeheartedly. But not a lot of people are there, and it took me years and years to get there. So doing what feels right for you, even if no one claps. You're not behind. You're just waking up. I want you to really hear that. You're not behind. You're just waking up. For so long, you sat there and you went through highs and lows and friendships and relationships and did the things and wore the things and ate the things and celebrated the things and worshiped the things because that's what you did. That's just what you did. You just followed the own beaten path. But you're not behind and you've learned a lot. Don't say things like, I wasted time. You didn't. You didn't waste time. You're just waking up. That's it. Again, start where you are, not where you think you should be. Start right now and start by really analyzing what it is you want. And quite frankly, you don't even know what you're starting until you start really realizing what you want. If you go back to the core, your core principles and your like the core things that you want. If you're on Patreon, you already have that worksheet. I highly recommend breaking that out because that's going to really help you understand what your core is. And then you can build your life around that. So then you know what it is that you're living, right? It's hard to live your best life if you don't know what that looks like. And being peaceful isn't just it. Like there's a lot that comes along with that. And you're not broken, right? There's that part that goes, I'm broken. You're scattered. Hell yeah, you're scattered. It's like I dropped a whole bunch of jacks on the floor, which I realize makes me sound like I'm 700 years old, but I like jacks. You dropped a whole bunch of them on the floor and they're scattered all over the place. There's nothing wrong with the jacks. You just have to rally them up. There's that old saying, broken crayon still color. Broken crayon, still color. And you're not broken. Who's telling you that you're broken? What perfection mindset do you have right now that says that you're broken? Based on what fact? What fact? Okay, if you're in a sling with a broken arm, you're right. Your arm is broken. You, on the other hand, are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're scattered and you've been living for others. And now it's time to take you back right now.
Check it out.